The Justice League of America has been the premier superhero team of the DC Universe for decades, and has been through many different incarnations for different reasons. This discussion will be about the versions of the teams and the reasons for their creation. Various origins for each incarnation of the League has been presented throughout the years, all depending on the circumstances for the team and which hero or heroine was part of the said team. The exact origin for the Justice League of America is in The Brave and the Bold, issue 28, March 1960. The JLA is actually a Silver Age incarnation of a Golden Age superhero team that still exists within the modern DC universe, the Justice Society of America. In a flashback story from JLA issue 9, February 1962, the circumstances that brought together the team, the Appalachians, an alien race in the DC universe, infiltrates the Earth. Among them, competing alien warriors see who can attempt to conquer the Earth first, as to establish who would rule over the newly conquered planet. The various attacks from these alien warriors gains the attention of Aquaman, Batman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Superman, and Wonder Woman. While individually they are able to hold their own against the attacks by the aliens, they all eventually fall to the invaders. Only by working together and combining their talents, abilities, and tactics are they able to push back the invaders and save the Earth. For many years after, the heroes that were involved, the Appalachians incident, consider this to be the moment when the JLA was founded and would operate under similar circumstances when faced with similar threats. Though various heroes and heroines have been part of the JLA, the core team was that of the founders as mentioned above in the original origin tale. Though unlike the Avengers from Marvel who had villains specific for the team, the JLA had its own villains who were sometimes foes of other singular members not specific for the team. Though Superman and Batman were the founding members, in some of their earliest stories, neither were in the stories nor were they seen on the Justice League of America covers advertising the heroes' adventures. Through circumstances, other longtime JLA members such as Green Arrow, The Atom, and Hawkman first joined the roster of the JLA at this time. The headquarters of the Justice League of America originally during the Silver Age was a hidden cave called Happy Harbor in the American state of Rhode Island. This cave was called the Secret Sanctuary. A small fact is that the legendary writer Denny O'Neil had Black Canary join the JLA around this time, and this was the period when the character developed her sonic scream in JSA, JLA crossover adventures. In Justice League of America Volume 1, Issue 77, honorary member of the JLA Snapper Carr reveals to the Joker the location of the JLA headquarters. Before this incident, no villain or even governmental organization of any kind knew where the JLA gathered for their meetings and reconnaissance. As a result of the breach of the information of the location of the headquarters, it will be transferred to its first satellite location. For most of the modern JLA history, the satellite would be the home for the various lower-ranked JLA members, as well as those who actually help to maintain the satellite itself. Regular civilian workers are actually hired to maintain aspects of the JLA station. Members can teleport to and from the satellite from various teleportational locations all across the Earth's surface, and even in other regions of space. The appearance of the JLA satellite has incarnations from the original concept to its modern portrayal. As with the level of technology in real life, the appearance of the JLA headquarters has also changed to reflect the times that we live in. The Justice League cartoon from 2001 to 2006 helped to call the JLA base the Watchtower, which is a code name for the JLA headquarters in the series. Though the JLA headquarters has also been on the moon, it has often most been a satellite orbiting the Earth. Another idea that's sometimes mentioned is who actually pays for and maintains the JLA Watchtower. In the Justice League cartoon, it's mentioned that Batman actually pays for the tower. though benefactors and donations vary in the comics. Also for reference, the Hall of Justice was originally devised for the Super Friends cartoon, which was broadcasted from 1973 to 1986. Originally just for this show, it gained a positive reputation from viewers and fans because of the cartoon, and it was eventually put into the DC universe as a result. However, once in the comics, certain facts about the Hall of Justice changed. Originally pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Hall's location was within Gotham City, which was outside mainstream DC continuity, as the Hall was mentioned frequently in special Super Friends comics that was released at the same time the cartoon was. Later on, the Hall appeared in an actual JLA comic. The issue was JLA Volume 1, Issue 135, and an issue of DC Comics Presents featuring the Global Guardians. Post-Crisis, the Hall is actually the main meeting room within the JLA satellite headquarters base. However, with the DC event Legends in 1986, more spin-off versions of the JLA were introduced within the DC universe. Justice League International, which had less of an American focus and more internationally driven, comprised of Batman, mostly to anchor the new book with a solid DC character, Black Canary, who was written as a feminist who clashed with the chauvinist Guy Gardner, who was selected over the better-known Green Lantern Hal Jordan, Captain Marvel, who at the time wasn't separated from Billy Bastion, Dr. Fate, which appeared due to a miniseries being written for him at the time, Dr. Light, who appeared for a brief time following Crisis on Infinite Earths, Martian Manhunter, the only real connection to the original JLA, Mr. Miracle, who joined more for appeal as well. Big Barda, his wife, and friend Oberon also made appearances as a result. Later on, Justice League International would be rebranded as Justice League Europe, as later on further it would be rebranded as Justice League International Volume 2, but the concept was for a more wider involvement of JLA heroes and heroines. The overall writing concept was that the membership of the JLA had become too large, a problem that actually occurs quite frequently within the DC universe. The original Justice League Europe consisted of Captain Atom, who was leader, Elongated Man, Power Girl, The Flash, Wally West, Rocket Red, Animal Man, Metamorpho, Catherine Colbert, a minor character who later acted as Bureau Chief, and Sue Dinby, Elongated Man's wife and information manager, later Bureau Chief. As a result of the low sales from the spin-off books relating to the JLA, by the early to mid-1990s, the editor leadership at DC decided to cancel all related JLA books, and teams disbanded within the DC universe. The revamped book was called JLA, which was focused on the founding heroes of the original JLA, released from 1997 to 2006. After 2006, DC decided to revamp the entire DC universe with 52, and the new 52 in September of 2011, which all DC comics were cancelled and relaunched in part to avoid the numbering system, which actually put off some of the younger readers, due to the fact that some of the stories they would need to read back upon to learn of the circumstances for certain characters or situations. The reasoning was similar to the 0 Hour of more than 10 years prior in the 1990s by that point in time. The revamped Justice League team comprised of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, The Flash, and Cyborg, who was historically a Teen Titans character but was put into the JLA to try and lure minority readers by DC leadership. The whole concept of DC trying to lure new readers to the JLA is nothing new. But in this modern age of technology, and children are not reading comics as much as they once were in decades past and in prior generations. The cultural impact of the Justice League of America is that this superhero team was arguably the first time heroes and heroines actually met up and formed a group specifically to fight villains, do heroic deeds, and go out on adventures. The JLA was so influential they actually influenced Stan Lee and Jack Kirby to create the Fantastic Four, which was critical to early Marvel Comics' success, and actually helped to create the other great superhero comic book publisher, Marvel Comics. In 1961, the then owner of Marvel noticed how well the JLA comics were selling and told Stan Lee to come up with a superhero team based on the JLA. Lee's idea eventually turned into the Fantastic Four with Jack Kirby's help. Later on, in 1971, once again Marvel introduced another team based on the JLA, which was the Squadron Supreme. The roster of the Squadron Supreme was Hyperion, based on Superman, Nighthawk, based on Batman, Power Princess, based on Wonder Woman, Dr. Spectrum, based on Green Lantern, and Speed Demon, which was based on The Flash. By all accounts, the Justice League of America is the greatest superhero team to have ever been conceived.